Thanks for joining me for another episode of Dylan in the Wild. I am Dylan Rice out on a remote assignment at the Cibolo Nature Center in Boerne. While at the Nature Center, I noticed that the staff here was getting ready for a controlled burn to control the areas with high grass. This reminds me of a topic I enjoy talking about: ecological succession. Ecological succession is the normal gradual changes that occurs in the types of species that live in an area. There are two types of succession: primary and secondary succession. The process of succession that begins without any soil is primary succession. It starts with living things called pioneer species that do not need soil to survive, such as lichens. They can survive harsh conditions and start the soil building process by erosion and weathering of rocks. When the beginning soil thickens, other plants like grass and wildflowers start to grow and add more nutrients to the soil. Eventually, the buildup is enough to support the growth of trees as animals start to move in. Here at the Cibolo Nature Center, there are examples of how primary succession can start. Here is a rock covered with moss that can start the process that can take up to 300 years. I can see the staff here at the Cibolo Nature Center is getting ready for their controlled burn. This brings us to our discussion about secondary succession. Unlike primary succession, secondary succession already has soil and is created when life comes back after a disturbance. These disturbances can be man-made, like a controlled burn here at the Nature Center, a building being torn down in a city, or a forest fire like the one shown here at Bastrov due to a lightning strike. After these events, not much remains. The forest fire in Bastrov left dead trees and ash-covered soil, much like the controlled burn at the Nature Center will leave. The area left after a building is torn down will also have bare soil. These areas will not be bare for long. The existing soil already has seeds to bring in flora, or plant life, and new fauna, or animals, will also carry in more seeds to aid in the rebuilding process. As a community grows, it will reach the end of a succession process and create a stable stage called a climax community. This is when plants and animals use their resources most efficiently to survive. There are conditions in the environment that can limit the growth of a climax community. These are called limiting factors and can be things such as temperature and water availability. Here at the Cibolo Nature Center, the availability of water from the Cibolo Creek has allowed these cypress trees to grow over 100 feet tall over hundreds of years. But the water levels never get too high due to the summer droughts, which has kept the fish population low. This is an example of limiting factors. Have you wondered if a garden you plant in your backyard is an example of succession? Well, not really. A garden is controlled by us humans by controlling the types of plants, the amount of water, and whether or not animals stay in or out. We can also add nutrients as needed and determine the size our plant gets. Now, if humans left a picture in a community of houses, how would that look in 10, 50, or 100 years from now? Do you think ecological succession would take over? Just look at an old house in a field the next time you are driving down an old road and see how nature has taken over. As you can imagine, humans have a huge impact on succession. Whether we are destroying our environment or trying to help conserve our natural habitat, like here at the Cibolo Nature Center, humans make our presence known. As we end another episode of Dylan in the Wild, remember how long it can take nature to rebuild by succession. So next time you're in the wild, ask yourself this: am I leaving nature better or worse than I found it.